Wangari Maathai was a Kenyan environmentalist and the first woman in East Africa to earn a PhD, and the founder of the Green Belt movement, which planted millions of trees and empowered women. She fought for democracy, public land, and environmental justice, even facing arrest and violence. In 2004, she became the first African woman to win the Nobel Peace Prize. Her legacy lives on as a global symbol of courage, resilience, and care for the earth. Welcome to African Heritage Hub, the home of Africa's timeless history, heroes, and heritage. Step into the untold history of Africa, the stories before and after independence, the struggles that shaped nations, and the visionaries who dreamt of freedom. At African Heritage Hub, we uncover the lives of Africa's pioneers, explore rich cultures, and revive the powerful movements that build the continent's future. Every episode brings to light the forgotten chapters, celebrates true African heroes, and honors the spirit of resilience and hope that lives on today. History is remembered, heritage celebrated, and legacies preserved. New episodes every week. Subscribe and journey with us through Africa's timeless story. Wangari Maathai was born on 1st April 1940 in Ihithe village, Nyeri County, in central Kenya. She grew up in the fertile Green Hills near Mount Kenya, a region rich with rivers, trees, and fertile land. As a young girl, she helped her mother fetch water, collect firewood, and tend the family's garden. These early experiences would later root in a deep respect for nature and a sense of responsibility for preserving it. Wangari was very bright in school. At a time when very few girls were educated, she managed to finish primary and secondary school. In the early 1960s, she got a scholarship through the Kenya Airlift program and went to study in the United States. She studied biology at Mount St. Scholastica College in Kansas. She later earned a master's degree in biological sciences from the University of Pittsburgh in 1966. While in the US, she witnessed the civil rights movement, an experience that inspired her to believe in justice, freedom, and the power of individual action. She returned to Kenya and in 1971 made history as the first woman in East and Central Africa to earn a PhD from the University of Nairobi. She became the first female professor and later the first female chair of department at the university, breaking gender barriers in academia and serving as a role model for African women and girls. In 1969, Wangari married Maathai, a rising politician. Together they had 3 children and were considered a power couple. But as Wangari's public profile grew due to her work and activism, tensions surfaced. Her husband found her too educated, too strong, and too successful. The marriage ended in 1977. The divorce was deeply painful. Mwangi took custody of their children, and Wangari was publicly ridiculed and jailed. Yet she endured. Her personal hardships, combined with her public activism, forged her into a symbol of resilience, defiance, and unwavering commitment. Wangari realized that deforestation in Kenya was causing not only environmental degradation, but also poverty, hunger, and water shortages, especially for rural women. In 1977, she founded the Green Belt movement to empower women to plant trees, restore ecosystems, and gain financial independence.
The debt burden is actually the burden acquired by the leaders, but passed on to the ordinary people to pay. And so when you go into these regions, especially our region, you find poverty, untold poverty, despite all the aid. And all we are saying now is, for goodness sake, if you're going to go through with this aid, it has to be aid that reaches the people. Of course, that is why we are saying that democracy is a just democratic governance is a prerequisite for proper development. And if we don't have that, we might as well not have any aid, because it's only going to enrich a few individuals. Fortunately, if we can be allowed to complete this process, this democratization process, and put in some mechanisms that will check our leaders, then we will be able to apply aid in the proper way and really work on poverty. Unless we can do that, we may agree in Rio that poverty is a big issue and should be addressed, but it will remain on paper.
Are you optimistic?
Oh, I'm very optimistic. What I'm most encouraged about is the fact that there will be a lot of women there and grassroots people, because the women especially will bring in more energy and will bring a lot of inspiration and commitment that women have and which we need in this new age.
The movement became a massive environmental and social force. It trained tens of thousands of women to grow and care for trees, and restored degraded lands by planting over 50 million trees across Kenya. Beyond tree planting, Green Belt movement educated communities on environmental justice, sustainable farming, and civil engagement, blending ecology with democracy. Wangari took bold stands to protect Kenya's public forests and green spaces from land grabs and corrupt development. She led protests to stop developers from destroying Karura Forest. Despite beatings and arrests, she persisted. Today, Karura remains a public haven.
We're going to shed blood because of our land. We will. We are used to that. Our forefathers shed blood for our land. We will do so. This is my blood. And it reminds me of the blood they shed trying to protect Karura Forest.
It's a very sad saga that we have a government in this country that is actually overseeing the destruction of forests and the grabbing of public land.
In the 1990s, she stopped a skyscraper project from being built on Uhuru Park, defending public land for the people. She advocated for restoration and sustainable community-based forestry in the Mau and Mount Kenya forests. Her activism was often met with brutal state violence, but she remained fearless, driven by a conviction that environmental degradation and bad governance were two sides of the same coin. Wangari's environmental work naturally led her into politics. In 2002, after Kenya's democratic shift, she was elected member of Parliament for Tetu constituency and appointed Assistant Minister for Environment and Natural Resources. From within government, she championed new forest policies, environmental education, and citizen rights. In 2004, she became the first African woman to receive the Nobel Peace Prize. The Nobel Committee praised her for her contribution to sustainable development, democracy, and peace. Wangari authored several books, including The Unbowed, The Challenge for Africa, and Replenishing the Earth, blending personal narrative with political insight. She traveled widely, addressing the United Nations, partnering with global organizations, and advising world leaders on environmental justice. In her later years, she was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. Even in illness, she remained active in advocacy and education. Wangari died on 25th September 2011 at the age of 71. True to her principles, she requested not to be buried in a wooden coffin, so that no trees would be cut down for her burial. Honoring her wish to protect the environment even in death, she was cremated. Her ashes were laid to rest at Kariakor Crematorium in Nairobi, not in her ancestral home in Nyeri, reflecting her belief that the earth belongs to everyone, not just one tribe, place, or community. Her choice reflected a global outlook, deep environmental values, and desire to leave no harm to nature, even in death. Wangari's story is one of courage, conviction, and compassion. She showed the world that one woman with vision and voice can challenge power, awaken a nation, and sow hope. Her life inspired millions of environmentalists, women rights activists, young leaders, and ordinary citizens who now understand that caring for the earth is an act of love, justice, and resistance. Wangari's life was a powerful testament to courage, resilience, and love for the earth. She stood tall against injustice, planted millions of trees, and inspired a generation to protect nature. Even in death, she taught us that true legacy lies in what we give back to the world. Thank you for watching. Let's keep Africa's story alive, one legend at a time. Another story told, another legacy remembered. This is African Heritage Hub, honoring the spirit of Africa. See you soon.